20 episodes of our very little podcast. That's what number we're on.
20. Wow.
One away, and this
Look at us go.
one away, and this podcast can legally drink.
Oh, snap.
And maybe this should have been the episode for that, because, oh, buddy, we're going to talk about some real ridiculous things.
Right. I feel like I'm like somewhat drunk every time I watch an episode of it. Or I don't even think that like drunk is the right word. Maybe just straight up like absinthe or something. I don't friggin' know. I think every time I watch this show, I get more and more confused.
That's the appropriate reaction. Anyways, this is episode 20 of the season anime Checkup OVA. I'm Jared, joined as always by Ladyem, who's going to be very confused throughout this episode and probably going to drop some what the f***s throughout.
Pretty much guaranteed, because they don't know this, but I'm going to tell them. Literally, since we've been watching this on Toonami when it airs, like every single week you get at least one text message from me that's just like, Jared, what the f*** am I watching? What is this?
Or, yeah, what is this show?
What is this show with no punctuation? Because the punctuation would make it make sense. And nothing makes sense to me.
As you can deem from the title of the episode, we're talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Parts 1 and 2 to be exact, because we haven't necessarily gone that far into the future, but still, season 1 of the anime, or the newer anime, I should say.
Yeah, I got interested in watching it because I've had several friends talk about the show and how great it is, which we'll talk about. And since Toonami was going to show the dub, and I had a huge affinity for several of the voice actors. Mainly what got me interested in the fact was that Johnny Young Bosch was Jonathan Joestar. And despite the fact that like Jonathan ain't my main boo here, he still dragged me into it. So thanks, JYB. But yeah, so Toonami just finished airing parts 1 and 2, and now we're here.
And now we are here. So obviously, I mean, spoilers, but I feel like this is the one episode where we could literally say spoilers.
It still wouldn't make sense to somebody who hasn't seen it.
Without context, they're still not going to make sense. Like, there was a Tumblr post going around, I remember like a year or two or sometime in the past, that was basically like, you know, you can get spoiled for all sorts of things on Tumblr or the internet in general, let's say, but I still have no idea what the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is.
No,
and that's...
I've watched it, and I still don't know what it is. So, I have never been more confused in my entire life.
So I watched it a little bit before you did. Like, I watched the Japanese version because it was on Crunchyroll, and I was like, I should probably watch this just to see what on earth it is.
Yep.
And then got hooked on it. And I would randomly like text you like things like, this show is really weird.
That's an understatement.
And it did get a little bit like more popularity when like the roundabout meme was going around last year.
Yeah, that's where I really like it. So it was somewhat on my radar because I've had friends that are like, oh, I really like this show or whatever. And then like when the roundabout meme became a thing, like it really appeared on my radar. And I was like, oh, okay, so this is a thing. And then, like I said, Toonami announced that they were going to air parts 1 and 2, and here we are.
Here we are.
I dragged you into that so you could see the dub, but
which the dub's actually pretty good, like surprisingly so.
Yeah, the dub's real good.
I was kind of worried just because, you know, it's a weird enough show as is. Like, you could get like a bad dub out of it, and I guess because like I don't necessarily know who licensed it for the dub, because it's been dubbed for a while. I think like the original version of it came out like a couple years ago, and then obviously Toonami picked up the rights and broadcast it in October of last year. But I mean, this is something that's been like out and about for a couple of years now, so it was like, well, maybe it's good, maybe it's not, who knows? But then like I think part 1 especially is kind of like, it's there.
Yeah.
Like there's a good cast to it, but obviously like in general, part 2 is the superior of the
I
two.
completely agree with you. And I do want to give a massive, massive round of applause. Not actual applause, but okay, we'll give actual
Oh,
applause.
sorry.
Keith Silverstein is just brutally good as REO Speedwagon, Robert E.O. Speedwagon. Like,
Please, he's not REO Speedwagon. He's Robert E.O. Speedwagon.
okay,
There's a difference.
there's a difference. Robert E.O. Speedwagon. So Speedwagon, he freaking nailed it. I was so amazed, and partially because I felt like Speedwagon was me, because Speedwagon was also so confused.
He is the one normal character that persists throughout both parts, and he's just like, he's there, and every time he's just like, I can't do anything. What is going on? Help.
He's like the viewer stand-in. He's somewhat of
Yeah.
a narrator, but he's also just like, what is happening? And I'm like, man, I don't know, Speedwagon. I have no idea what's happening.
Which is amazing too, because like you're introduced to him because Jonathan goes off to London.
The back alleys.
Yeah, because part 1 is in like the late 19th century, 1880s essentially.
Yep.
And he's going off to try and find like how his dad could have got poisoned by Dio. Spoilers, Dio's a bad guy.
He incinerated a dog.
He incinerated a dog, that is true. You thought we were going to talk nice about Dio, but it's me, Dio.
Yeah, and he also like sexually assaults Arena, which is,
And that's where that line comes from.
it is where that line comes from, but it's also just like, ugh.
Yeah. So Jonathan's off like in the back streets of London trying to find a poison dealer essentially, and he runs into Speedwagon, who's like the leader of this local gang and has like
That
he's like,
hat.
oh, he's got the hat that has the blade, and Jonathan blocks it, and he's like, I've never met a man who blocked my hat blade. You have my respect.
Right, and then he becomes like the biggest like Jonathan fanboy in the world. Like he just follows him around. He's like, yes, okay, we are friends now, and it's so good. Like I love Speedwagon. Speedwagon is one of my favorite characters. Unfortunately, he did get surpassed in part 2, but Speedwagon was definitely the highlight of part 1.
I feel like if Speedwagon is the overall best character out of both parts, at least for me.
Do you really think so?
Overall, over both, like encompassing both parts. Obviously, there's not a lot of crossover between the two, but like Speedwagon's my boy.
All right, I'll give you that. Speedwagon is one of the best characters, but like I said, voice acting for Speedwagon was just phenomenally done. Like I know that I like also fangirled about his voice acting last week, but
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, sorry, 2 weeks ago. But I will also fangirl this week because holy crap, he nailed it. So freaking good. Dang it.
And there's just a lot of good voice acting within this cast. Like, I mean, JYB is Jonathan, which
JYB.
Jonathan's not the most interesting character. He's basically
He's
just
not.
there as like the story starter, which that's basically all part 1 is in general. It's like, we need to set up the story between the Joestars and Dio, and we're going to do this in what, like 9 episodes.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
it was really short. And but I mean, like what he worked with, he did a great job.
Yeah.
I was interested to hear him with the accent.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's true.
So that was great. And actually, so we've had interesting arguments. I don't know if I want to call them arguments over Pappenbrook.
You insist that I hated him
You
for
did
so
hate him.
long.
You hated Pappenbrook.
I did not, on the record again, on this very podcast, let me reiterate that I did not hate Bryce Pappenbrook.
You hated Bryce Pappenbrook, but I feel like the fact that he was Caesar in this is what made you not hate Bryce Pappenbrook.
That is incorrect. There were just roles of Pappenbrooks that I didn't like.
Because I
And
remember
since I've
you
come
were watching,
around on
you'd be
him,
like, oh wow, he did Caesar, and then like you were super stoked about it, and then you were like, yes, this is the best role Pappenbrook ever did.
I will. That is 100% true.
So you came around on Pappenbrook because of JoJo.
Caesar is his best role, bar none.
Caesar is one of my favorite characters.
Which it's very like in parallel with part 1 too, because obviously you meet Caesar's grandpa, Wille Zappelli, who mentors and teaches JoJo, Jonathan, and they're all buddy, but obviously this Zappelli dies pretty quickly. So obviously it's 9 episodes, so you don't really get much of character and all that stuff in those couple episodes.
That was when he's just like bleeding out on the floor, and I'm like, he wouldn't be alive, right? Isn't that when that was happening?
I believe he gets split in 2 or something.
Right, and also loses an arm, and like there's not enough blood, and also you would die of shock pretty immediately and like blood loss. And he just keeps talking and keeps going and keeps giving advice, and I'm like, honey, no, just die. You're good. You're cut literally in half. Like you can go. It's okay. I remember texting you during that, just so confused how this guy was just still kicking when he was literally like bisected. I'm like, what?
I mean, that's just how. I mean, look at the last like 5 episodes of part 2 where JoJo had like bled out like a gallon of blood, and he's still like kicking.
Okay, right. But there was also the part in part 2, like just this past week that I was texting you, and it was like, that's a lot of blood for that kind of wound. Like, I don't think that would happen.
Yeah.
So the wounds that shouldn't bleed a whole lot bleed a lot, and then the wounds that like literally your organs would be falling out of your cavity. There's no blood really, and he's just like, yeah, okay, time for me to monologue and encourage you. I'm like, yeah, all right, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah.
But also that was that weird scene where like they were neck wrestling essentially.
Yeah, because they were tied to each other's necks.
Yeah.
That's how you do things.
What the is this show? Oh my god, how do you neck wrestle with some and they were also like brought back to life, and like it was inaccurate history, which is a little annoying, by the way. But then again, we're also talking about a show with like vampire horses, so you know.
Yeah.
I don't even JoJo.
All right. Quiz time.
Oh no.
What's your favorite parody name of part 1?
Favorite parody name?
Yeah. Because obviously JoJo has a lot of names based off of bands.
Okay, right. Well, in part 1, we're just talking about the Jonathan timeline here at this point, right?
Correctamundo.
Okay. That's a dumb question for you to ask me because you know the answer. Because you know they're one of my favorite bands.
You can't pick Speedwagon.
How can I not pick Speedwagon?
Pick a minor character.
Aww.
Because Speedwagon would be the answer for everything.
Speedwagon. Who? Now I have to remember. Who?
Okay, can we just name off names for you? Because I have them all in front of me.
Sure, why not?
We got Wang Chun.
Oh my god.
Ton Petty. Dyer. Straightso. Doobie. Styx.
Honestly, because I remember it being the one that stuck out to me the most besides Speedwagon, Tom Petty, because I was like, wait, did they literally just say Tom Petty? But they didn't. His name is Tom Petty.
It's definitely Tom Petty. That's the best one.
But yeah, that's my favorite. And also, I really like Tom Petty, so
I would assume
we'll go with that one. But also, the real answer is Speedwagon.
Yeah, I would assume in part 2 your favorite minor parody name would be Loggins.
I think Loggins would be my favorite minor of part two because holy God, I love Kenny Loggins. Holy God, I love Kenny Loggins. Holy God, I love Kenny Loggins. I love Kenny Loggins. I don't know how many times I can say that I love Kenny Loggins, but I love Kenny Loggins.
I mean, and it gets to the point in like part 3 where there's literally a character named Vanilla Ice. So at some point they're just like, eh. But I mean, it's Japan, so like copyright laws they don't have to give a fuck.
Right. Well, and I mean, I don't. Some of them they didn't really go that far off of them, like
AC/DC.
AC/DC. Like I immediately knew what they were going for on that one. Wamu, you had to explain to me.
Cars is pretty obvious.
Cars is pretty obvious. I had to look up Lisa Lisa because despite the fact that I'm a black hole of pop culture knowledge, especially in the 80s, I did not know that band.
Yeah.
I probably could have gone my whole life without knowing that band and been okay. But beside the point. What is this show?
What is this show? It's fantastic. Is what you should be talking about. It's a show about vampires, family. A lot about family. It's like the Fast and Furious of anime.
I haven't seen the Fast and Furious.
I mean, the Fast and Furious films are like the biggest movie franchise of all time now. So,
I think I just threw up in my mouth a little.
What? No joke. Like,
no, I know that you're not joking with me, but I still.
But the last 4 movies they've done have been real good, in a way that film series should never have been good. Also, Tokyo Drift is still the best film. Fight me on that. Anyways, part 1.
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty. Stone mask thing that just turns you into a vampire.
Right.
Which is I guess a prequel to what happens in part 2. Or like a foreshadowing or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it was a lot of build up and vampires out of nowhere. I was like, oh, okay, there are vampires now.
That's how you know, like, that's how it sets the tone. It's like, oh, vampires now. Okay, sure, why not?
I mean, yeah, I kind of like, all right, they're vampires. This is vampires now, and like at one point, Dio like gets cut in half, and his animation is like slightly off, and he's like, you know what, this makes sense. Okay, I'm not even gonna be upset because he got cut in half, and why not? Vampires. It's such a weird show.
And then there is the shocking finale.
Is that with all the fire and everything?
The boat.
Oh, the boat. I'm on a boat.
Because you didn't know that was going to happen. And yeah,
No.
I think I was like, oh, well, this is the final episode of part 1. Or I may have mentioned that to you, but like, no. Yeah, part 1 just ends very abruptly.
Yeah, it was like, so Jonathan and Rena got married.
Yeah.
Which, yay for them. Yay for marriage. And then there's just like freaking zombie boat. What the heck? Like, why you gonna ruin a marriage like that, Dio?
Because Dio's a jerk, if you haven't figured that out yet.
Right. Well, come on, Dio. So Dio also doesn't have a body at this point, right? It's just Dio's head.
Correct.
Am I remembering correctly?
And let me tell you, that will be explained in part 3.
Oh God.
Because shocker, Dio's back. Which I guess we see that in the post credits teaser for part 3. Because they bring up the coffin of Dio.
There's a thing in the water.
And it's like, Dio. You're like, oh no, he's back.
So yeah, he decapitated himself, and then he's like, I'm gonna have Jonathan's body as my own, which is kind of creepy, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
all the while the boat's exploding.
Right. explosions are happening. Poor Arena is real stressed out. Um,
Because it's like revealed then that she's pregnant.
yeah. Also the boat is exploding.
Also, the boat's exploding.
It was Wang Chan who was like blocking up all the mechanics, right?
Yeah.
If I remembering this right, where like the boat's all like messed up because his body's just like chilling in the middle of the
Yep.
the bits. Yeah, okay. There's another baby that Arena has to protect because, of course,
Which that gets explained later.
it does. It does. Yeah, and man, Jonathan, it was a kind of a sad send off.
I like the last line here on the JoJo wiki of for Phantom Blood. The ship explodes with both men inside as Arena escapes in Dio's coffin, pregnant with Jonathan's child and protecting a surviving infant whose parents were killed in the attack on the ship, thus setting in motion the events of the entire series.
Wow. So I want you to know that on the actual Wikipedia it's different, but it's very, very similar. Passing away with Dio's head in his arms, whilst Arena and the baby hide and whilst when Dio's bomb-proof coffin to protect them from the explosion. Arena is eventually rescued near the Canary Islands a day later and vows to pass on the truth of what happened on February 8th, 1889 to the unborn child she conceived of Jonathan and generations to follow. Wait.
And that's the end of part 1.
Did she conceive the baby with Jonathan on February 8th, 1889, or is that when they died? Or did it happen the same day?
I mean, I don't think they boned and then they died.
I mean, that would make it really tragic.
That would be real messed up.
Yeah, it would be really tragic.
Don't go to Bone Town on the day you die.
But they just got married, so like, you'd probably be boning. I'd be boning if I just got married. Please don't listen to this, Mom. I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez.
Maybe you should just edit that out.
Nope, leaving it in.
All right. Now that my face is entirely red, let's talk about my favorite of the Joestars.
So part 1 ends, big explosion on the boat, and then the next episode, because this is still season 1, is part 2, and we have fast forwarded to the future, the year 1938.
So future.
The city, New York.
Whoa.
The United States of America. Welcome to part 2.
Hello, part 2.
Battle tendency.
Man, I just want to mention. So I didn't like the intro at all for part 1. I hated it. I didn't like it at all. Even the expanded version, I did not like. Obviously, Roundabout is a great closing theme. That worked perfectly. So, when we got into Battle Tendency, and we get Bloody Stream, and we get all the pastels and beauty, and the weird arm that is a circle, that is Caesar, I'm kind of in love with that opening. Like, I'm really kind of in love with it.
The bad thing is, though, that, like, you know, with how Toonami airs their anime shows, they kind of chop and screw the openings and endings. So it's like a 30-second version of a 90-second song. So it's like real weird and disjointed, except for Roundabout.
Right. And I texted you and I was like, the opening theme sounds not right. It sounds like it ends before it's supposed to. And you're like, oh, yeah, that's because it does. And you sent me the actual opening. I'm just like, what have I been doing with my life? Like, this has pastels. This has
all
beautiful
the pastels.
Music. Like,
it does
to that, and it's wonderful. And given that it's got my 2 favorite bros and their bromance.
What bros?
In the opening. Oh my God. Joseph and Caesar are freaking phenomenal. Like, best characters, hands down. Like, if I can give you like a top 3 of characters, no. If I could give you a top 3 of characters of just JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, it's gonna be Joseph, it's gonna be Caesar, and it's gonna be Speedwagon. Like, period, end of story.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's just given what I've watched so far. But I also, it's gonna take a lot to dethrone them.
I mean, they basically introduced Joseph, and like right away, you know he's way different than Jonathan. Like, he has way more personality. He's way more fun.
He's so snarky and sassy, and I love him. He's so good. He's so good.
Now, obviously, oh, sorry.
I was gonna say there is the weird introduction of like the slightly racist character though.
Oh yeah, of Smokey.
Yeah, Smokey. While the character is like, he's good because he's pals with JoJo and everything. Like, he's still kind of a racist caricature, and that's really
Yeah.
not. But yeah, we do have an introduction of an actual like person of color in this show. Wow.
Yeah. And I guess even though like it is kind of like a stereotype, like he is, the character is used infrequently enough to where it's not like overblown to being like a super stereotype, and it's not really like used in a poor way, I would say.
It doesn't come off as like vaudevillian, and it doesn't come across as quite as bad as like Bear from Final Fantasy VII.
Right.
So there's that, and he also does contribute to the plot and everything and the points when he's there. So like, I appreciate Smokey, but maybe they should have just toned down the racism a little bit.
A little bit.
Also, we just found out his voice actor, like, holy crap.
So like we didn't know this until going on the air. But yeah, we're like, Smokey's voiced by Robbie Damon? Like, what? When did this happen?
Yeah, I had no idea. And also, since I'm on the topic of voice acting, the actor who did Joseph is freaking good. He is so good.
Like, for that character, you really need to get over like the snark, the sarcastic nature that he has, and this guy just does a A+ job on it.
I'm probably gonna say it wrong. Ben Diskin.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Is the voice actor, and like nailed it. Because that's the thing, is I like him so. Let me clarify. I like Joseph so much because he's just a sass machine, and
Yes.
I have a high tendency to love characters that are just like giant balls of sass. Like, yes, please give me more. And probably the most sass machine character I've ever seen in media, and he does have some of like a slight cockiness to him, but it comes across more as just like a smart than like full of himself, and so I appreciate that balance. So he's likable because he's not so like over the line.
Right.
He's perfect. I love Joseph Joestar.
Which the part 2 voice cast is like just very good. I mean, you got, like we talked about, we got Joseph and Smokey. There's, Keith Silverstein reprising his role of Speedwagon.
Bryce Papenbrook.
Old Papenbrook as Caesar.
Wendy Lee.
Wendy Lee as Lisa. Dan Warren, who, if you've played Persona, as the old Igor voice, is von Stroheim, which is very, very goofy. Stephanie Shea as Suzy Q is also very good. Like, there's just top-notch talent.
Yeah.
In the part 2 dub.
I'm real impressed by the dub. Which I'm sure if they've listened to me talk at all about things that we've discussed on this show, I do really try to give dubs a chance, usually over subs, just personal preference. And this one was really, 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 really well done. I was extremely impressed, especially considering that a lot of them did have to have accents. And a lot of times when you're pulling off like a British accent, it sounds kind of strained and awkward when you're not British.
Right.
So I'm impressed.
Because there's a wide variety of nationality characters in this. Because obviously it starts off in America, but that's like a brief period of time, and then off to Mexico, and then ends up in parts of Europe as well to basically end it. It's all over the place.
Well, and von Stroheim is like, okay, so let me mention while I'm on this that von Stroheim really makes me uncomfortable in a lot of ways. As a historian,
yeah, because like a central core group of characters in part 2 is the Nazi army.
The Nazi army, and like von Stroheim is always talking about like superior German technology and things, and I'm like, that makes me uncomfortable.
Real awkward. Which they don't necessarily like outright say like, oh, these are the Nazis in the show, do they? It's basically like, oh, it's the German army.
Right, but we also know that it's 1938, 1939, and they're the German army, and he's always talking about the superior German technology.
Right.
We know you're Nazis. You're some goddamn Nazis. Like, you're gross. You're terrible, and it makes me really uncomfortable that sometimes they're like played up as like the saviors at points.
It's very uncomfortable when it's like, oh, the Nazis are coming to help out. They're the Allies? What?
Yeah, it really, really makes me uncomfortable at points. Like in the same way that a lot of the like German imagery in Attack on Titan makes me extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Just again, and it may not even be the fact that I'm a historian, but as somebody who has done some pretty extensive research and also had like a professor who did a lot of like Holocaust studies, I'm like, ugh. Maybe we should tone that down a little. But there tends to be a really I don't know exactly the right way to word this, but there tends to be a little bit more of like a glorification of like Nazi Germany in Japanese media that comes across as like more okay to them when it's really not okay.
Yeah.
But it happens a lot more in Japanese media than I would say it happens like in Western media.
True.
Sorry, that was a downer. That being said, von Stroheim does have some really funny moments, and apparently inspired Guile's hairstyle.
Yeah, which it may sound very weird because we're talking about an anime that came out in like 2012. But you have to remember the JoJo manga came out in the late 80s, so that's literally possible that a character from the early parts of JoJo could inspire a character from Street Fighter 2, which came out in 92. So
I feel like von Stroheim though like spends a large portion of part 2 like just his torso.
He's just cut in half most of it.
He's just cut in half most of this like part 2. I'm like, what's with this superior German technology, dude? You can't even keep your legs.
Yeah, but he has all these like robotic features. He has guns coming out of him.
He has guns coming out of him and can launch his freaking hand at a villain.
It's true. So we should set this up a little bit because
right.
The beginning happens. Straight from part 1 comes back. He's now a vampire.
Whoops.
Surprise
vampire.
He comes after Joseph. Joseph kills him. And then Joseph learns that Speedwagon is dead. In Mexico. And he heads off down to Mexico. Has a bit of a cross-dressing incident.
Incident is a good way to put it.
And that's basically the setup for part 2's antagonist, the Pillarmen.
Yep.
So you basically, like, the German army has kind of, like, found one form of the Pillarmen, like a kind of incomplete form. And they're, like, they have it under, like, surveillance. And obviously it gets out because, surprise, here comes the bad guy.
Is that Santana?
Yes.
Okay. I forget what they actually call him in the dub, but he's Santana.
Yeah, it's, like, Sarin, Satviento. Aha! Thanks for loading, Paige.
He's Santana.
And then obviously Speedwagon's alive. He's just down there,
Chilling.
like chilling. The German army has kept him alive.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, I'm glad they kept him alive, but
yeah, totally. And then JoJo has to fight Santana, and ends up getting the better of him thanks to the sun.
Oh, this is when you get that great introduction to the one song.
Oh, the one by Lotus Juice.
Yeah, during the fight, you get the one that kicks in with the beginning of Owner of a Lonely Heart. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that song is a jam.
Which I think you initially texted me, you're like, is that Owner of a Lonely Heart? And I was like, buddy, it's even better.
It's Lotus Juice. Love.
And this is where Stroheim gets cut in half, and then we'll eventually come back later as Mecha Stroheim.
Robo Stroheim. Is it here? I'm trying to remember exactly when we get the introduction that like JoJo fights with like these weird like ball things.
That's when they introduced the three pillar men.
Oh, okay, because I thought it was really interesting that like his he has these weird balls that he fights with, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's a thing. He's great. I love JoJo. Anyway,
so they beat Santana.
They do.
They don't have to go be in Mexico anymore. But how about we go to Rome?
Yep, let's go to Rome.
Let's get JoJo a hormone teacher.
Let's do it.
And that's where he runs into Caesar.
I love Caesar.
Who he basically is like, who's this playboy?
Well, because your introduction to Caesar is him like on a date.
Yeah.
And man, he is smooth.
And JoJo's like trying to show off and like trying to use his hormone to like do some stuff. But, like he's very inexperienced at it. It's like he just like goofs up at it the entire time. Caesar like sends him a glass of water that's been hormone charged, throws it back at him. JoJo's like, I could do this, and it's like dumps water on himself. And then they get into a fight near a fountain. It's real dumb.
Oh, that's when you find out that Caesar fights with Bubbles.
Yes.
I love that he fights with Bubbles.
Because he kisses a girl and charges her up.
Yeah.
Uses that as an attack.
I want to fight with Bubbles.
And then that's also when you meet Lisa, who legit one of the coolest characters in this show. Because basically, like they introduced her as like this. She's like a boat attendee at first, like, or she's disguised as one.
Yeah.
And JoJo's like, "Who's this boat attendee giving me lip?" And it's like, oh, she could kick your ass 5 shades of tomorrow, pretty much.
Well, and we also know that there's a Street Fighter character based off of her.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember I texted you. I was like, wait a minute, she fights with a scarf. That seems familiar. And then you Googled it, and you're like, yeah. So, Street Fighter apparently taking all the cues from JoJo.
Street Fighter is just completely just ripped off JoJo. That's the key thing we're learning here.
Man, I mean, Street Fighter's not nearly weird enough.
It should be. But I guess before they meet Lisa, they meet the Pillar Men, who awaken thanks to, once again, the Nazis.
Yeah, and they have like their weird like butt diaper things that they run around in.
They like to pose, let their hair flow, look real ripped with their butts out.
And their butts out. Who doesn't like to run around and pose with your butt out?
They literally cut up the entire German army. One of them walks through Caesar's friend and cuts him in half.
Yeah, that was messed up.
It was. So you meet Wamu, AC/DC, and Cars. And then this is where JoJo gets the 2 rings of death. Where one's placed around like his windpipe, the other around his heart. He has to defeat Wamu and AC/DC to gain the antidotes, which is in their nose rings.
Yep.
Which is gross.
It's really gross.
And that's why they have to go to find Lisa to help them train and become better. Or else they're gonna die.
One was a lip piercing though, wasn't it?
Yeah, you might. Yeah, you're right on that.
Okay. Um, yeah, the wedding rings were a thing. Also, the I think at that point you're introduced to the red zone of which I thought it was Asia, but it's not Asia. It's pronounced
Asia.
Asia. It's
Yeah.
pronounced that way, but it's
AJA.
a J. Um, so that okay, that makes a little bit more sense. Um,
I hope people are
continue
completely
your
understanding and following along here because it's still ridiculous.
No, there's no way you can follow this because it's what is this show?
Right?
Oh my God, what is it?
So Lisa puts them under a training regimen where they have to like climb
The pillar.
the pillar that's covered with oil and they can only climb with hormone. But also JoJo has like a mask on to control his breathing, so like he's not being effective at all or anything.
He looks like a dog who's been muzzled.
He does.
Oh my God. This is like the beginning of the Caesar JoJo bromance though. Like
Yes.
Caesar is legitimately concerned that JoJo's not skilled enough to get up the tower and is gonna die and all that. It was real emotional.
He's complaining to Lisa, and Lisa just stands there. It's like, if he can't climb the tower, he's not worthy of my time. Makes her sound like she just smoked a carton of cigarettes when she said that.
Yeah, you really do. Which I mean, she does smoke, so.
Yeah, that's true. It's canon.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that was real messed up. And then they get training from Kenny Loggins
From
and
Loggins and Messina.
Messina. Although most people don't know about the Messina part of the Loggins history, but
They're not you, so.
right. But like Loggins and Messina was good. Kenny Loggins as a solo artist is better, but Loggins and Messina. Anyway, they are the new teachers.
Yes. So they climb the tower.
They win.
JoJo has been approved of, and then now he fights AC/DC,
Da-na-na-na.
who he's able to defeat. But there's a twist. Once he's leaving the battlefield, you see the brain of AC/DC on the back of JoJo.
Also, I want to talk about like how great so JoJo throughout the series, throughout his part of the series, continuously like has moments where he's like, and now you're gonna say this, this, and this, and this, and then the character immediately is like, how did you do, but and like says exactly what he was gonna say, and so like he's really really clever in that sense, but it's funny how he always just is one step ahead of everybody and pulls off the weirdest nonsense. Like,
Right.
In this entire fight, I remember there was just like it was like a string of something. I couldn't remember exactly what it is, but like he just like wrapped it around all these crazy spikes so that he could like use oh, by the way, Loggins dies.
Rip in peace.
So he like uses all of this to like entangle AC/DC and obliterate him. I was like, dang, that's so impressive. But yeah, the brain is definitely there. Whoops.
Which leads to the next episode, which is basically like, which is real weird in hindsight, especially if you know the relationship between these two characters. When JoJo is like spying on Lisa when she's in the bath, and it's like, oh, buddy, don't do that. Don't do that in general, but also don't do that in this circumstance.
Don't be creepy, and the train disapproves of the creepiness. Don't be creepy, and also like
don't be creepy.
Don't be creepy on who this person is. Right. Which I guess it is a spoiler episode, so we can say who she is if we would like, or we could wait till later. It's up to you.
Well, we can wait till later. Let's give the listeners the same benefit that the anime viewers had. But anyways, the brain of AC/DC kind of tagged along with JoJo, and then takes over Suzuki, which basically almost kills her.
Yep.
Somehow she survives, and then it's like, oh, well, you have to kill this girl in order to kill me, but Or boy JoJo does it anyways. Also, AC/DC, while possessing Suzy Q, sends the Redstone of Asia to like Switzerland.
Yep.
As a way to like be a misdirection. But then AC/DC dies for realsies this time. And now, road trip.
I have to read you the last line of the episode of this. It says, as Kars appears to attack the lodge, Joseph learns that the leader of the German group is none other than Stroheim, who has since become a cyborg.
Yeah, because like the end of that episode is like they travel to Switzerland. They're like going by car to catch this train, which the Redstone's on.
Yep.
And then like the train stops and it's being like halted and searched. And then it's like they're like, oh, is that the German army? And then it's like revealed like, here's von Stroheim and he's half cyborg now because sure.
Yeah. All right. It's not even the weirdest thing that happens in this. So like, yeah, okay. You're a cyborg now. Let's do this.
Which they find out in Switzerland that Wamu and Kars are there as well. Kars is like, yo, what's up? I'm going to take the Redstone back. And he basically cuts down like all of the German soldiers in this house except for von Stroheim because he can't detect him because he's half cyborg.
Yeah.
And then this is the episode where like with the cliff and everything, where
Oh,
JoJo like
some more bromance.
it's more bromance. So basically, it's a whole thing where Kars and JoJo are gonna fall down a cliff with the Redstone, but JoJo's able to outsmart him and climb back up the cliff, supposedly leaving Kars down there. But of course, it's Kars.
Well,
Not happening.
Again, I'm not gonna let you leave this without talking about this bromance. What's so great about this is that JoJo starts creating this like icicle bridge type thing, and then Caesar realizes that that's how JoJo's gonna think, so he starts creating one going down to him, and I'm just like, man, they're such pals. I love this. So they start thinking alike.
But then in the other half of the episode happens, and the rift between them happens,
and then the bromance is dead.
And the bromance is dead. So like they get into a fight, and then Caesar's like, I'm gonna go prove my manliness and my family's honor by go fighting Wamu. And everyone's like, no, don't do that. That's a bad idea. And he's like, no, I'm going to do it anyways. And then Lisa's like, you shouldn't have said those things, JoJo, because like he takes his family very seriously. And he's like, uh-oh.
Unlock backstory. This is also where JoJo's an asshole to a cat. So
that's true.
That was really upsetting.
You hear that guy go, meow.
Right, I was so upset. He was so mean to him. But yeah, we unlocked Caesar's backstory.
Which basically goes into the next episode where you learn of Caesar and his dad and the Pillarmen, how the Pillarmen ate his dad.
They literally ate his dad.
Yeah. And Caesar was a young crime boy. And then he has the fight with Wamu.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.
I guess I'll talk about it then.
I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to do it.
So they have the fight, and it does not go well for Caesar.
It doesn't. It's a blood bubble.
The blood bubble. Wamu's like, I respect you as a warrior. I will leave this blood bubble with your scarf and the ring, the antidote.
The antidote.
And then also there's the religious iconography of Caesar being crushed by a giant stone piece that looks like a cross.
Yeah. Yeah. That was intense. That it was literally like a sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
It hurt. It hurt a lot. It hurt a whole lot.
It's all. I would say though as well. Like there's a good scene at the end there, like where the show allows both Joseph and Lisa to show like immense emotion, because especially Lisa because she's been seen as like the stern, hard-nosed like teacher, and like she just breaks down like when she learns it, and so does Joseph as well. Like he's like a character as well. You don't really see him show that type of emotion, and like both of them break down in the same way. And it's like I think it was like an excellent way to show like how real these characters are, like how they can express different emotions, and also to let like your tough protagonist basically be able to break down and cry like that.
That's what I was gonna say, is that, you wouldn't expect a character who, for one, looks the way Joseph does, and
Hmm.
in some ways behaves the way he does, to be allowed to express himself in like a very emotional way. And I, for one, very much appreciate that. Like, I think it is a great thing. Let men cry, period. Let boys cry, please. Um, so I was glad that they were like, clearly Caesar meant a lot to these two people. Let them have their emotions. And I think even the narrator says something like, despite the fact they're in enemy territory, like they break down.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that's really understandable. But it, like you said, it's really human and it's really real, and it hurt. You can attest to the fact that I was
Yeah,
hurting pretty hard after that
you were
episode.
real upset. Also, I guess like as well, this is like kind of a aside, but it also shows like a different aspect of Wamu's character, because he's not like the rest of the Pillar Men. Like he has like this warrior spirit within him,
Yeah.
and he's like I'm not even gonna fight those two. Like they need to grieve. I respected Caesar as a warrior himself. Like we had our battle. That's done. I'm gonna fight JoJo in the future. I know that, but not now. That would be way too like that would be a cheap shot. Like and he's like I won't do that.
I
Which
mean, I give Wamu credit. Like, he's the least of all the Pillarmen.
yeah. It also it just ties in later to what like Cars does, and in like the final episodes as well. But like Wamo, you're a bad guy, but like you have a heart of gold.
You're the best of the bad
Yeah.
guys. Give you some credit, bro. Yeah, I mean, Wamu was at least somewhat likable in the sense that he did have that I guess he also had an aspect of like humanity to him,
Yeah.
that the other Pillar Men just don't have, especially in comparison to like Cars, who just
Mm-hmm.
bleh.
But Cars is a doo doo head.
Cars is a doo-doo head. Cars is the worst.
So you have that emotional episode, and then the next episode is like, okay, we've had our emotions. What if
Vampire horses.
we ramp up the ridiculousness to another level, like vampire horses? Also, the return of like a butt ton of vampires.
That messed with me. I was really confused. I was so confused.
Because it's basically like JoJo and Lisa have their emotional moment. They're like they recompose, and then it's like, oh, here's a vampire. so dumb. And then vampire horses at the end, which that's such a great phrase in general, and also just vampire horses.
It's a phrase. God,
man.
vampire. It just. It was so weird. I don't understand this show. What is happening? And then like this is an episode. It's according to this that
It's another backstory episode.
which in the middle of the freaking bonkersness that is vampire horses.
Yeah, here's some
What's
backstory.
Backstory. God, what is this show?
So this is where you learn that Lisa knows Erina. Like and like she has a photograph of her, and JoJo's like, that's weird. Why would she have this?
Yeah, 'cause she's the baby.
Well, one of the babies.
Well, right. She's not like the in womb baby.
No, she Lisa is basically the baby that they saved on the ship, whose parents died, and then set up the rest of the series.
Yep.
As the wiki said.
Yep. And she was raised by Strazo, right?
Yes.
All right.
Before he turned to a vampire.
Right. Well, she wasn't raised by vampire Strazo. Can you imagine how weird that would be? I say, as we talk about vampire horses.
Speaking of vampire horses,
Oh my god.
we've got a chariot race to have.
With JoJo wearing the bandana because yes, I raise my glass to you, JoJo.
So we have Wamu versus JoJo with a chariot race of
Vampire
as they're attached
horses.
with vampire horses.
Also, there are vampires trying to intervene in the fight.
The Colosseum they're in is surrounded with vampires as well, because Obviously.
My eye is literally twitching just thinking about this. What is this show?
Also, this is where Wamu gouges out his own eyes.
Yes, he does. And
And while
someone
he's
becomes a unicorn.
yeah, he puts his horn out. Also, this is where he's like dangling while stuck in one of the horses. And then there's like crossbows as well. Which JoJo's like, I'm gonna get the big one. He's like, I can't cock it. Oh God.
Oh my God. It's
And then this basically is where it ends, where like Wamu hits him with the crossbow and then shoots his severed arms at JoJo, choking him, and that's how the episode ends.
I forgot about choking him with the friggin' severed arms. Oh my God. Oh, he just flings his freaking arms at him, and oh my. What is this goddamn show?
Great.
That's a word.
And the next episode is the finale of the JoJo Wamu extravaganza.
The showdown.
The showdown. Which JoJo's able to defeat Wamu because he's like doing his ultimate attack by using fire and Caesar's bandana. Pour one out for your boy Caesar.
I wish I could, but I'm in my bed, so if I pour out this water, it's going to be a real tragedy.
And then JoJo's like, here, I'll give you some of my blood so you don't have to suffer. And Wamu's like, why would you pity me? And then also the vampires attack at this point as well. And then JoJo and Wamu fend off the vampires.
Yeah, because, okay. Oh, you get the hair reveal.
So this is the beginning of Cars versus Lisa, the other half of the showdown in the Coliseum. Because part one was Wamu versus JoJo. The other part was Lisa versus Cars for the battle for the Redstone of Asia. And this is also where Cars shows he's a real asshole.
Yeah, like the definition of, like, you thought that Dio was an asshole, but it was me, Cars.
He basically just like cheap shots Lisa, stabs her, and then like basically
literally
hangs her by her
in the back.
Yeah. Literally stabs her in the back and then hangs her by her feet and like forces JoJo to like hold her up. Also, here comes Stroheim with his men in UV lights. They're back.
And Speedwagon and Smokey are there.
Speedwagon and Smokey just randomly show up because the
sense.
Speedwagon Foundation.
Why not? Also, it kind of grossed me out. I'll be completely honest with you that like Cars like pops a hole in Lisa's feet and then like runs the cord through it. Like, oh, it was really gross. It was really, really gross. So Cars is an asshole and cheap shots and everything, and like he had like, none of the warrior spirit that Wamu had.
He basically said, he's like, do you think I was gonna fight with the same bullshit warrior code that Wamu has? Like, that. And JoJo's like, you asshole.
Good.
And then the cliffhanger of this episode is Smokey being like, JoJo doesn't know that Lisa's his mom. Which
I was so mad because my DVR cut that part off, which I knew already that was the case, but it literally just cut off the line that Lisa is his mother, and I'm like, well, okay then. It was because it was showing that weird thing on Toonami, but
thanks Toonami.
Yep, good job. We were also worried that it wouldn't show because it was on April Fool's.
Yeah, that is true as well. So I don't know if I knew Lisa was his mom at this point when I watched the Japanese version. So that might have just been like a huge reveal for me, like, what?
But it also makes that whole like peeping in on her taking a bath scene real bad.
Real bad.
So JoJo is now holding his mother that he does not know is his mother up over like crystallized spikes by her feet that a rope is going through while he's bleeding, she's bleeding, and Cars is laughing.
And basically he's going to attack them in a moment, which leads us to the next episode, which is basically what happens. And also, hey, you want some more backstory?
Always.
Let's learn about JoJo's dad, George Joestar II, George Joestar Jr., who wasn't as cool as Jonathan or Joseph because he doesn't have a a JO name, so obviously he wasn't going to be a protagonist. But also was a fighter pilot in World War One.
He was.
And then was murdered by a zombie.
He also was that. I was a little upset that the anime doesn't say that he was in the RAF or Royal Air Force. Like they used like some kind of weird knockoff, and I'm not sure why.
I don't know exactly. Maybe there's a copyright on the RAF.
Can you copyright the RAF?
I don't know. Like there was some reason they didn't say it, but yeah, they like skirted around it. And also, this is like how you learn how Lisa is JoJo's mom, and how she had to like change her name because everyone thought she killed this commander that. Well, I mean, she did, but they didn't realize the dude was also a zombie and killed George.
Also, this is where you see Fat Baby Joseph.
Fat Baby Joseph.
He's so fat.
He's a real chubster.
He's so fat. Oh man. Yeah. Sorry, zombie. Jerk.
That's so dumb. So dumb.
Yeah. But yeah. So she's been in hiding, and
then Speedwagon finds her.
Speedwagon found her and pulled off his amazing Speedwagonness and saved the day.
Speedwagon is the ultimate bro.
He really is. Like, Speedwagon is like, you know what? I really like Jonathan. We were bros. I'm going to do anything for his family. And I'm like, ride or die, man. Ride or die. I like it.
Speedwagon's the man.
He is. He's a good peep.
But anyways, JoJo's able to outsmart Cars again, sends him down into the crystallized spikes, which Stroheim's men shoots him with the ultraviolet beams, but they didn't realize that he had the stone mask and also the red stone of Asia, and plants it on his face, and what's up, I'm the ultimate being.
Yeah, whoops. And so von Stroheim the entire time was like, I did not know, I did not mean to. And he's like a 4-year-old trying to like convince people that he did nothing wrong. It was really...
All the while Smokey's like, we gotta tell JoJo that his mom's Lisa. And every time he tries, he's like...
Speedwagon's like, no!
No, you can't do that. You cannot do that.
No.
So that leads us to the penultimate episode, which Toonami randomly showed this in the finale back-to-back.
Yeah, they did.
Which we didn't realize until, like...
No, we didn't.
I think it was... You were like, oh, Toonami's saying that they're showing another episode of JoJo after this. And I was like... What?
Yeah, it said up next JoJo, and I was like, what? Why is JoJo coming on again?
Guess they had to get rid of it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So the penultimate episode, aka the second to last episode, aka the beginning of one of the craziest finales that I've ever seen in any medium, bar none.
I was so friggin' confused this entire time. Just like, what the heck is happening? Like, the least weird thing is the fact that Volcano is labeled as Volcano on the map. Like, that is the most normal thing in this entire episode.
It's so dumb. Let's start off the episode with some vampire squirrels.
Right. Vampire squirrels were weird. What the heck?
Cars is just like, hey, I can create any form of life and everything. Also, the sun's out. Everyone's like, yay, Cars is dead. The vampires are all dying. Cars is like, sun, I don't care. Whatever.
What if? Shrug shoulders.
Joseph invokes the family secret once again. Run away as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Which he and Smokey are just like running away. JoJo's like, why are you doing this? You don't have to run with me. He's not going after you.
Oh, Smokey tried. And then, like, random plane.
JoJo jumps off a cliff, and then you just see a plane fly up. And it's him in a plane. Like, how did he jump into a plane and get it in the air that quickly?
Where was the plane hanging out? Like, was it in the water? Was it on a cliff? Where did this plane come from? How does JoJo know how to fly a plane?
Genetics.
Oh my god. I don't think aviation is genetic.
I mean, it is in this universe.
All right, well, so JoJo has a plane now.
So he comes up with a plan to drop basically him and Cars are having a dogfight, except Cars is just flying because he just grew wings all of a sudden.
His wings.
Yeah. JoJo has a plan to lure him to a volcano, which apparently is around Italy.
It is around Italy.
And this is when Speedwagon's like, "Your mom's Lisa." And JoJo's like, "Oh, huh. Well, anyways, I'm going to dump him into this volcano."
And then, like, random piranhas appear.
So, like, Cars shoots off, like, wings at him, and it damages the plane, and then they randomly just turn into piranhas. Start eating at him.
The armadillo skin things, and then, like, it becomes piranhas, and they're chomping on the airplane and gonna crash it. And, I saw on Twitter, I don't remember who exactly posted it, but it was really funny. Somebody said, some of the effect of like, please check the overhead bins for piranhas before you take off. And I was like, oh my god, that's really funny. But yeah, random piranhas can crash a plane.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, there's piranhas now. Surprise piranhas.
Joseph Cars basically attaches himself to the front of the plane. JoJo's going to crash it into the volcano. And then here pops up Stroheim, who just was randomly on the plane as well. With half his body.
Shoots his hand.
Oh, jeez.
It really makes no sense. But the hand that he shoots just like is pinning Cars there somehow because yeah. And like JoJo is complaining that he can't use his parachute because piranhas ate it. And then he falls into Cars falls into the volcano.
And that's your cliffhanger for the finale.
It is.
Which, oh buddy. So basically that begins on the volcano. Joseph's like, "Yay, we won." Cars is trying to like form a new skin to help him not melt. He fails once and then comes back out. Or it looks like he's dead. They're JoJo and Stroheim are celebrating, and then JoJo goes to pick up Stroheim, and then JoJo's arms gets cut off.
Oh, it was so sad. And again, the voice actor nailed it because he sounded like he was legitimately in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
It usually when people are in pain in anime, they don't sound like it's real pain. Like this legitimately sounded like somebody hurt him. Like, who hurt you? Cars.
Cars is like in this like black skinned airtight bubble skin that protects him from lava. Basically, he's gonna kill JoJo.
Yeah,
because he's the ultimate being. JoJo just randomly has the redstone of Asia and uses that as a counterattack.
Why does he have this? How did that happen? And that's again not even the weirdest part of this episode.
So he uses that, and that also causes the volcano to erupt and the island to shoot into the sky.
Yep. So just flying on this like piece of land.
And then JoJo's able to send Cars out into space.
He launches Cars into space
by using his severed arm.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
But it was me, the severed arm.
So Cars is like trying to like find a way to use the gravitational pull of Earth to get back to Earth, but then he just starts freezing. He's like, oh no. And then you just see him float away as like this frozen being. The narrator is like, Cars froze to death and was never seen again. Just floating off into space.
Good.
And then you see JoJo on the volcano island as it falls back down to Earth, and he's just like, well, I'm dead.
Yeah, he's like, I accept everything. And then like you see like a day of death and everything on the bottom right corner.
It basically, yeah, they're like, Joseph Joestar deceased. And then it cuts to New York, and you see everyone at a funeral. So you're like, obviously, it's Joseph's funeral.
Yep.
Everyone's all real sad. Arena's there, Smokey, Speedwagon. All your faves are there.
Lisa.
Lisa. They're all pretty much like getting ready to go, and then you just like you just hear like loud, boisterous person like coming, and like these guards are like, "Why are you interrupting this funeral? Like, how rude are you?" And like obviously you recognize the voice because here comes Joseph making the most baller reintroduction by
Right?
crashing his own funeral.
Oh my God, it was so good. And not only did he crash his own funeral, he reveals that like he's married and has a prosthetic hand from Stroheim, and he just like keeps doing this weird like finger twitching thing with it. Yeah.
So he's married to Susie Q now, like randomly as well. And they're like, he's like, "Didn't you tell everyone that I was coming?" And she's like, "I forgot."
She was supposed to tell everybody through a telegram that he was not dead.
Whoops.
But she nursed him back to health. And to be fair, in the earlier episode after he saved her, he did say he would see her again. So
Yeah. They did set this up. But
they,
still.
so they're married.
What a baller way to come back.
For real, like crash your own dang funeral. Like, yeah, perfect. Okay, I love it.
So good.
It's like the perfect ending for Joseph. It really, really is.
And then you get the recap of like all the other characters of like what happened to them. Which that's a trope. I just forget like what the movie is that everyone references when they say that. But you basically see like Arena dies peacefully while surrounded by family. What happens? I forget what happens to Lisa.
Lisa gets married to like a Hollywood producer.
Oh right, yeah. And she's just like she goes off and does her own thing. Speedwagon basically just continues doing what he's doing. An eternal bachelor.
Oh.
The last of the Speedwagons.
That's so sad.
It's very sad. Smokey becomes
man, I was proud of Smokey.
He becomes the first black mayor in a city in Georgia.
Heck yeah. He rocked it. I'm proud of Smokey Brown.
Stroheim dies in the Battle of Stalingrad in 1943, and they're like, he never saw Joseph again.
And I did mention to you that superior German technology was definitely a failure at the Battle of Stalingrad. So,
but they do leave him on like the last image you see of him is like him busting out like 4 different guns out of his torso, which is real dumb.
It's real ridiculous. But the Battle of Stalingrad was really brutal. Although I'm confused as to how he can die. I mean, he's a cyborg. Does it have to be a headshot? Is that what kills him?
I guess it would have to be.
All right. Then we get the epilogue.
Then we get the epilogue where you fast forward to the 1980s at JFK International Airport.
The best of the decades.
Which you see these 2 guys, like this old man gets his foot run over by a briefcase. And he's very angry at the Japanese, as he says. But he does love them Walkmans, which I was kind of sad that was the line that was changed from the dub to the Japanese. Because he literally said, he pulled up the Walkman. He's like, "I do love those Walkmen."
Oh, he's mad because his daughter married a Japanese man. So
old man, casual racist Joseph Joestar.
Right, Joseph Joestar pulling out his casual racism.
But you do get to see Joseph is alive and well in the 1980s. Roll credits.
Yep.
And then post credits teasers as you see these fishermen pull up a giant crate with the coffin and the words Dio emblazoned on it, and then jump cut to a cell, and you see a young man sitting in the cell, glaring menacingly. And that's the end.
Yep. And that's all we've seen. Or that's all I've seen. You've seen more, but
I've seen like the first 3 or 4 episodes of part 3, so.
Oh, okay. I do want to talk about, before we wrap this up, about how much I absolutely hate the art.
You don't like the art, which I can understand, but like it's a style.
No, it's definitely stylistic, and I know that there's a thing that they're going for there, but God, I can't stand it. Like it is bizarre.
No pun intended.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that when I said it. I just all the men look just what are they? You're not human.
It's
Like
ridiculous.
literally every dude has like a 16 pack and like a huge toned butt and like their thighs are the size of me. And I just don't understand like what is happening? Why are you like that? But
It's
um
JoJo.
it is. I mean I have to give it credit in the sense that it's very iconic and very like memorable and stands out. But
I
God, I don't like it. But in its defense, it does have so many pretty pastel moments.
I think you're going to when if we watch all the way through part 3 and we get to part 4, you are going to love part 4
Are
cuz
there
it is pastel overload.
Oh my God, I love the pastel scenes. Like,
because part 4 takes place in the 90s and they basically just go
yes.
overboard with like all the pastels and everything.
Oh man, is that when we get Savage Garden?
Yes. Which I haven't seen any of that, so like that's all stuff that I don't really know or anything. But like all the screenshots I've seen of it is basically just like, yo, you like those pastels? Well, how about we make an entire show that's just pastels and that's our art style.
Oh, I love pastels. I love the pastel scenes. Whenever they show up, I get real, real happy. But it's not the best Savage Garden song, so
Yes, yes, we
you
know.
lose points there. You lose points. What the is this show? What is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Somebody please help me out here because it can't be vampire horses. That just can't be.
Look, I've seen through parts 1 and 2 like 2 times now. I don't have any idea what the this show is.
No,
Let's be
I don't
real.
either. Like, I have no idea. Like, I've watched it and I still am just like, what is happening? What is going on? Like, I legit through this entire podcast, there were moments that I was like, wait, that actually happened. That was a real thing that happened. What is this show? Like,
I'm real interested to see how you take to part 3 because it's very, I guess like it's kind of similar to like Persona because like there's characters in that, like basically all the characters have like they have their stands, which is
mhm.
it's essentially a persona.
Interesting.
It comes out and does fighting for you. Also, a lot of the episode titles for part 3, like the first half of part 3, are all arcanas.
Huh. Interesting.
But there is like I guess there is a like they did dub a couple of the episodes for this. Uh,
Yeah, Matt Mercer.
Matt Mercer as Jotaro, which man, that is A
Inspired.
plus. It's real good. It's real good casting. Apparently, they were up on like Crunchyroll for like a brief period of time, but like I haven't seen anywhere where like those dub episodes are out and about, and I don't know if they're gonna completely like dub the entire thing. So we're basically gonna have to move to subs at this point, which isn't a bad thing. Like
I'll
the
live.
Japanese voices are real good, and you'll get to hear old man Joseph just randomly curse and say just English phrases just at random. Just have him yell, "Oh my god!" or "Holy shit!"
That's what my friend Chris was saying is that it's worth watching the subs just so that you can hear like random English cursing from Old Man JoJo. But I don't know. It's gonna be hard moving to a completely different language. But I've done it before and I'll do it again.
It definitely I think helps as well, just because like this is an entirely new cast,
Yeah, that makes sense.
so you don't really have like that
The connections.
crossover. Yeah, like the only one you would have is old man Joseph, which you briefly got like the snippet of
Right.
his
So
old
I'm
man
not really
voice.
like attached to his old man
Right.
voice.
But yeah, maybe if we can somehow find those and track those down, we'll like just check those out for posterity's sake. But other than that, it's gonna just be the Japanese dub from here on out. I'm just looking at some of like the parody voices, and I'm getting some goofs. Yo, Vanilla Ice, Kenny G, Oingo and Boingo.
I love that Oingo and Boingo are there. I love Oingo Boingo, just as a side note.
But yeah,
I've mentioned it somewhat in this episode, but my friend Ben refers to me as a black hole of pop culture, especially in reference to most anything in the decade of the 1980s. So a lot of the musical references really make me happy.
they're completely just like right up your alley.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a big music nerd anyway. Like, I listen to a lot of stuff that people my age typically don't, which sounds really pretentious. Like that sounds stupidly pretentious, but it's not in the sense of like, oh man, I listened to like the good music when music was good. Like, no, I fully admit I listened to really crappy music. Like, I sent you a screenshot of me listening to Survivor's High on You the other day. That's not a good song. I love that song.
You totally did.
Um, so like I listen to really strange stuff, and my my musical, I guess, knowledge comes a little bit in handy in JoJo, except for in the case of Lisa Lisa because that band's terrible.
And like literally neither of us like knew like we had like an idea of like what it could be, but we were completely wrong.
I, honest to God, though, lost my damn mind when Loggins and Messina were introduced. Like, I was so stoked. Well, and Tom Petty, like, I was really excited about that. It's clever. It's the same kind of thing. I got excited when I played Guilty Gear because a lot of the musical references in that, like, that's the thing that it really catches my interest a lot. I can't exactly tell you why, but
Right.
like music has literally been a thing in my entire life. Like my mom will attest to the fact that before I could like make my own sentences, I knew the words to REM "Shiny Happy People," which is so fitting if you know what that song's about. Um, so that kind of thing was really one of the elements of the show that was drawing me in. But man, I'm just so freaking confused by this show. And I don't know how to unconfuse myself.
I don't think you can. Once you're in,
No,
you're in.
and that's the thing is that like I don't hate it. I don't hate JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Like I want to because I'm so confused, but I don't. Like I don't hate it. I've legitimately watched anime that I dislike, and this is not it. You know this. I was excited to watch it every Saturday. I was like, yeah, it's time for JoJo. Let's JoJo. I did forget a few times, but that was because important things were happening. But like I was legitimately excited to watch it and see what was going to happen, and I got like very 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 brutally attached to Joseph and Caesar and Speedwagon. So while I'll sit there and just be like, what the heck is actually happening? What in the good Lord is this? I don't hate the show. I really do kind of like it. And I feel like most of this episode has been me being like, what the heck? I hate the show, but I really don't hate the show. There are pastels and great characters and great writing and vampire horses.
Yeah, vampire horses.
And great musical references and Speedwagon. I mean, just Speedwagon's one of the best anime characters I've ever run into. Period. Also, he's named after one of my favorite bands.
That doesn't hurt.
It doesn't. I love REO Speedwagon. Holy crap, I love REO Speedwagon. If you haven't listened to REO Speedwagon lately, after you finish this podcast, go listen to REO Speedwagon. Just do me a favor.
This show is just ridiculous. I think that's the only thing we can say.
And I mean, like, maybe that's why maybe that's why I don't hate it, is because like sometimes you just need some kind of like WTF like bizarro stuff in your life, and like I think that's kind of why I like Adventure Time as well. Is it's sometimes just out of left field and you're like, what? So yeah, those are my thoughts on JoJo. Make of it what you will.
Oh man.
I hope this episode was as fun as you were hoping it was going to be.
It was, because it was just us like just giggling like little schoolgirls talking about like the ridiculous of this show. Which, look, if you were confused after listening to all of what we have talked about, and
Welcome to my life.
welcome to Ladyem's life, and also just welcome to the club, because that's pretty much how you're gonna be for the rest of the time when you encounter JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, it's real confusing.
But man, if you take the time to watch it and just like enjoy it in any sort of way whatsoever, it's like it's fun in a way a lot of shows just aren't fun.
I also like that it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Absolutely.
I feel like that's a thing that I run into a lot in anime that ends up kind of killing it for me. Like at first it'll be like fun and interesting and I'll be into it, and then it just starts taking itself way too seriously and I lose interest. And I know I keep bringing this up, but like, they're getting like super deep into the backstory and Caesar dies and it's getting real intense, and then vampire horses, like
Yeah. It's never like
that's how this show goes, is like things get so serious, and it's like, all right, well,
you can't have the seriousness like be there for too long,
no,
because then it just wouldn't be ridiculous.
it would no longer be bizarre.
That I couldn't said it any better myself.
Oh man,
that's going to do it for this episode.
It is.
If we eventually get through the 48 episodes of part 3, yes, 48.
Oh
it's very long.
Oh my god.
We'll probably reconvene and talk about how ridiculous the next part of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is, because Lord only knows. Like those first couple episodes, they get kind of crazy. Let me tell you. But yeah, we will reconvene perhaps at a later date and talk about more JoJo and be very confused and confuse you guys as well, because that's probably all that's happening. Even if like you're a seasoned JoJo pro, like come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
Anyways, for more information, check out seasonalamecheckup.com or sac.cool. Follow us on Twitter at Anime Checkup, where you can find cool stuff there. Where I tweet about how we didn't get involved in the Persona 5 Accolades trailer.
We didn't. It was so rude.
How dare us rate that game worse than everyone else?
What? We didn't even rate it terribly. But
I
I mean,
know.
also we're not really like famous game reviewers either, so that's all on them.
It is.
Jerks.
Way to go, Atlas. You goofed on that one.
You done goofed.
Go check out Ladyem on Ladyem.com, where she has a new piece up about ukulele. It is a review piece about that little game, and also I think a good piece of how nostalgia can be a hindrance at times in terms of like how you view things from the past and like how you compare them to now, but also how in terms of how video games are developed, how you can't necessarily rely on nostalgia completely in order to create and sell a game in 2017.
Yeah, so I'm actually really proud of some of the writing in this piece.
There's some really good lines.
But also it was just kind of heartbreaking to write in general, because I really, really wanted to like that game. But so I guess spoiler alert, that I didn't like the game, but go read it anyway.
It's very good. Very good. Just like all your other pieces.
Aw, thank you. I have another one in the works, but this one came first.
Yeah, I was gonna say like you'll by the time this goes out, you'll probably have that other one up. So do you want to give a preview of what that is? I guess you did in the last episode, but just in case.
Yeah, I'm trying to write like a more like Ladyem in-depth Persona 5 review. That one's not going as well as the ukulele one did. Partially because it's hard to do when you don't have a whole lot of like screenshots to work with.
That's very true.
So there's that element, but just given how like entrenched I am in the Persona universe, I really wanted to do a written piece as well. and I'm trying to write some more reviews and junk.
Which obviously, like, I haven't read that since it isn't available, but by the time this goes out, it'll be available, so you should go check that out, and Ladyem.com. I'm sure it's fantastic. And even though I would probably disagree with it at points, but still.
Probably, but that's okay
That's
because
totally okay.
you can criticize media that you like and still like it. And also
Exactly.
you can disagree with people that you're friends with or whatever, people that you're not friends with. You can disagree with people and still be cordial and like, not be an at that. So, and you're good at that.
I try to be.
Yeah.
Next week we will. I guess we'll get to that Zelda episode finally.
Oh my God, it's been so long. We keep telling people we're gonna do the Zelda episode, and I feel like crap because we haven't done it.
Unless something else comes up, tentatively the Zelda episode will be coming next week. Maybe, I mean, hey, maybe I'll be able to work in that real awkward quote or awkward piece I just read in the Sex with Shakespeare book. That was, oh buddy, that was real
No,
weird.
no, that can stay away.
Yeah.
No, 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 not
If you
allowed.
if you ever wanted to learn how like you'll sometimes read really weird books in 400 level college classes, yeah, I'm reading a book called Sex with Shakespeare. It's real weird. And on that note, look forward to some Zelda, I guess, next week, or if something else pops up, it'll be something else, and then Zelda will get pushed back again, and then again, and then again, and then again.
Welcome to my life, my bizarre life.